Are you suffering from the stress, fallout and depression crisis caused by the Rayllum ship? Well, if you are, congratulations, cause this video will explain to you why this ship is just so gosh darn good, that it's been giving you constant nightmares on how lonely and terrible your love life is. And for those of you who have randomly stumbled upon this video after searching for ways to make homemade chicken nuggets, you must be very confused. So do yourself a favor by clearing your schedule for the next 3 days and binge the show called The Dragon Prince on Netflix. You'll thank me later. So the Dragon Prince animated series itself is a very wholesome series, as it has a lot of qualities a brilliant animated series like Avatar The Last Airbender has. Qualities such as introspection, connection, misdirection, anticipation, beautiful redemption, and erection. The bottom line is that the show makes you feel like a wholehearted teddy bear filled with gummy bears inside, just like Avatar The Last Air. Wait a minute. You know what? The Dragon Prince actually has something more than Avatar The Last Airbender. Behold, the Rayllum ship. Yes, Avatar might have the great tea master Iroh and a fluffy flying cow named Appa, but their Amtaro ship is nothing compared to the masterfully crafted Rayllum ship. Cause I mean, like, the only thing Amtaro gave me after finishing the show is an insane craving for Uncle Iroh's special tea. No aftermath, no impact, and after their friend zone "I'm gonna marry you in a few years" hug, I was just like, meh. I guess now I must start my quest to find an old fat Chinese man with some sick teapot skills. But Rayllum on the other hand, ho ho ho, if my mother saw me during the aftermath that the Rayllum ship gave me, she would call the local shaman to exorcist the hell out of the depressing wraith that was making me sleep sob for a straight week as I reflect on how empty my life is without a moon shadow elf. This is a feeling only single weird introverts would understand. Self-destruction 100. Though keep in mind, I am just another film-majored college student who binges shows to numb my depressing life, which translates to all the time. So even though I have watched thousands of films and television series in my lifetime, none of those shows really made me as vulnerable to my emotions as the Dragon Prince did. I can't believe from all the shows I watched, a kid's show would be the one to defeat me and make me feel the emptiness I have inside. I guess true art doesn't discriminate age. So yeah, the Rayllum ship is basically the key component that makes the Dragon Prince worthy to be named one of the best series of all time. Take that Game of Thrones, you beautiful, pathetic, inconsistent butt. Though there are other arcs that made the show a true masterpiece, like Sorbear's and General Amaya's arc. But I still believe Rayllum deserves their own segment, as the messages and emotions that the arc conveyed are so deep, it was able to shift my perspective as an adult towards society and myself. So here's why Rayllum is a true masterpiece. One of the most surprising attributes about Rayllum is how they were able to produce butterflies in each other's tummy, despite their vastly different backgrounds and personalities, as well as negative social stigmas that surround their racially different societies. When they first met, the two of them nearly shared nothing in common. Callum is a physically weak human prince that is raised high up in the Catalyst aristocracy, while Rayla is a physically superior moon shadow elf assassin that was raised in a militaristic community.
That is a brilliant backhand.
Callum has a "Hi, sorry, could you please pass me that book? But if you can't, I totally understand. I'm really sorry for wasting your time like that kind of personality, while Rayla has a more "pass me the damn moonberry before // your precious corgi. See, that wasn't so hard" kind of personality. Callum's human society views Rayla's elf race as Vladimir Putin's, who rather than choosing a scalp that is balder, chose a scalp that is hornier. While Rayla's elf society views humans as minions of the dark side who would always choose the fun route of snorting the innocent lives of magical creatures. However, despite the differences, they actually had a lot in common as well. Both of them lost their parents at a young age. Both of them struggled to be accepted by the society, Rayla being held back by her parents' cowardliness and Callum by his pathetic sword skills. And they both are young and single. and therefore they were able to cast aside the differences to reach a common goal, which is to return this blue corgi to its mommy, and also because Rayla apparently thinks that Callum is a cutie. Plus 1 motivation points for all you skinny dudes out there. As a result, the two of them produced this unique cultural clash character dynamic in which really reminds me of another ship that had me depressed but not as long, Jon Snow and Ygritte. Like Rayllum, Jon Snow is a prince from an aristocratic household while Ygritte is an assassin who was raised by the enemy race of Jon Snow's kingdom. Wait a minute, why are these two ships oddly familiar? Let's see. Rayllum's canon kiss was on Season 3 Episode 5. Jon and Ygritte's kiss was on Season 3 Episode 5 as well. Ygritte dies in Jon Snow's arms in Season 4 Episode 9, and the Dragon Prince also has 9 episodes for the upcoming Season 4. Oh for doodles. I swear to the moon shadow gods, if Rayla gets killed in the finale of Season 4 by Claudia because she thinks Rayla is a bad influence for Callum, I am going to cross the line with my no words and pledge allegiance to spread hatred to the writers. Not the casts though, I love them. Especially you Sorbear. Back to the topic. Though we might not feel it, the difference that Rayllum portrays actually foreshadows the segregation and discrimination that we have in our current society, and therefore it really hit home when the Rayllum ship sailed, as it simply just throws out all the racial and class discrimination out the window and gave me hope that one day I would be able to share my jelly tart with someone that my traditional Asian parents won't approve, like the furries or Japanese people, cause my dad is Korean and they apparently had a pretty violent domestic history together, so he literally hates anything that rhymes with anime, like communism. Claudia, my precious malicious baby. How to put her significance in the Rayllum arc into words. Her very existence in the series just makes the Rayllum arc so gosh darn unpredictable. We all thought Callum and Claudia would be a thing, and Rayla is just Callum's pet elf assassin whose only job is to protect him, a defenseless little man. Most of us even wanted them to be together and possibly be the next Tara, because at the beginning of the series they were both being really cute together. They clearly liked each other but were too shy to express their love for one another. And we ex-Claudium shippers were like, oh, my babies are trying to send love codes to one another, they grow up so fast. Though my baby Callum seems to be having trouble decrypting Claudia's signals. Sarai, are you sure he is your kid? Well, there might be a chance I grabbed the wrong baby in the hospital. Then they finally had this cute little date where Claudia tried to gobble Callum's innocent face, and then she manipulated Callum, tried to kill his pet elf, kidnapped the blue corgi, and attempted to convert him to the dark side. Well, that took a pretty dark turn. But even after that, most of us were still hoping that Claudia would go on a redemption arc to leave her father and get back to my defenseless baby boy Callum. But apparently Claudia.x didn't have enough brain cell capacity to detect the Trojan virus. And Callum, on the other hand, got lonely and a bit too comfy with his pet elf, in which made him think to himself, you know what, at this point I might as well. And that was how the Rayllum ship caught me off guard and literally obliterated my lonely empty heart. Oh goody. The musical score that layers the Rayllum ship is just so gosh darn brilliant. Not only does it sound great, but the musical score is structured to give us this sudden strike of nostalgia according to each character's theme or emotional beats. Even though I'm a failed piano student, I still know a thing or two about music. So here are 2 tracks from different scenes, one from the Renan and Ethari separation and the other from Rayllum's first kiss. What do they have in common? Well, if you pay attention closely, the melody between the 2 tracks align with one another in order to fit the emotional beat in both scenes, which revolves around love and the start of something new. Here is the first track from the Renan and Ethari scene called Heart Blue. You could realize that the song starts with a brighter tone, then subtly dims down to a sadder tone, in which reflects Renan and Etheri's harsh reality. But then when the Rayllum kiss happened, Frederick Whiteman used the same melody to convey the same emotions but ends the melody differently in his track called One Feeling Too Far. The melody suddenly ends in a cheerful note, mainly because my innocent boy Callum got so confused. But it also gives a feeling that this ship is brighter and cuter in reality, while the melody reminds you of the deep love that Renan and Ethari shared. Not that Rayllum is secretly gay or anything. Or are they? Here's another sample where Frederick Whiteman uses the same technique to achieve another purpose, establishing a character's theme and history. Here are two tracks from the Silver Grove scene and the Rayllum Cannon Kiss. The first track, Silver Grove, has a faster, lighter tone, and when combined with the story of the scene itself, it gives you the perception that this is Rayla's childhood home and therefore this is also Rayla's music. Now, with that in mind, feel how the music strikes you with Rayla feels in this next scene. You could immediately hear the similar melody surging into you, but approached in a slower and heavier manner in which brilliantly foreshadow Rayla's character development from the broken child she was back in Silver Grove, to the mature and heroic elf she has become after her adventures with my defenseless boy Callum. When a musical score is harnessed perfectly with a film, it feels almost magical, and the way Frederick Whiteman did it would explain why I got a mini seizure during the Rayllum Cannon Kiss. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the comedy between the Rayllum ship is not the kind that would make you laugh so hard until rice ejects out of your nose. Unless you are a part of the younger audience who still find chicken dancing funny. But for the older, more life-stained audience, the comedy has a more cute and adorable approach in which sets a tone that makes them smile and giggle a bit when Rayllum tries to crack a joke.
Greetings, fella humans, human fellas. I sure do like hanging out with other humans and talking about things like money and starting wars.
Though it might also make us cringe at times. However, the comedic undertones reserved for the older audience lies on the relatable references that Rayla and Callum go through as they struggle to explore their romantic script. The references they give would start off from a simple wink-wink crush nostalgias, which we as the older audience could bring it to the next level and go crazy with our stained memory and imagination to make the references funny and relatable. Here are a few examples.
Gets really cold here at night, so we'll need these. I wasn't sure, if you guys needed 2 blankets or just 1?
Two. Yeah, 2. Cause if there was just 1, then...
2!
2.
Suit yourselves.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
What girls think? Why is he acting so weird? Just hold on to me. What boys think? Please don't have a boner. Please don't have a boner. Keep yourself together. Think of bait. Oh no, why is it rising? I honestly didn't think I crossed any line here, cause the voice actor for Rayla stars in shows called The Dangers of Online Dating and Sex with Paula. Why did I censor that? Oh right, there are kids here. There are kids here. Kids, don't Google boner. Now let's do a deep dive into the drama of Rayllum and why it caused heart attacks for lonely people. So I got this chart of different types of love from my communications class, and it is safe to say that Rayllum falls under the category of a storge relationship and not eros. Storge is a peaceful and slow romance that grows out of friendships, though it lacks passion and intimacy, and the sandwich part comes later in the relationship. I honestly don't know if that last part is true, but at least Rayllum, it's not an Eros type of love, which is a relationship that is heavily based on physical beauty and attractiveness, which also means that it leads to the sandwich part immediately. This Storge love allows Rayllum to explore each other's personality deeper before the kissy part, and therefore creates a lot more substance to support the dependency and understanding of one another. But something that really catches the essence of the relationship that Rayla and Callum have is Rayla's vulnerability. Callum, on the other hand, is a straight-up vulnerable human being, and he doesn't seem to hide it, and therefore he is able to grow as a person and love himself. So shame and fear is an emotion that makes us human, and the root of it is vulnerability. How we treat our vulnerability is what defines how whole we could be. Rayla's case on how she treats her vulnerability is a special one, not because of how different it is, but on how relatable it is. A sense of worthiness, love and belonging are qualities that we humans need as a species to feel wholesome, and elves too, I guess. However, the moment Rayla's parents fled the Dragon Guard, these qualities were ripped away from her, as she became the daughter of traitors and was automatically singled out by the Moon Shadow Elves of the Silver Grove. As a result, Rayla has this constant pressure of needing to be worthy, so that she could be loved and belong to the Moon Shadow Society. However, her shame towards her parents became a vulnerability, as this imperfection in her history threatens her to be disconnected and unworthy of her society. Therefore, Rayla tries to cover up this vulnerability by striving to perfect herself as a Moon Shadow assassin, to prove her self-worth, and to secure her place in the Moon Shadow Society. But what's worse is that she tries to numb her emotions and pretends that questions about her parents don't have an impact on her. However, vulnerability isn't only the core of shame, fear and the struggle of worthiness. It is also the birthplace of joy, creativity, belongingness and love. And therefore, by numbing her emotions, Rayla automatically numbs other emotions like joy, gratitude, and happiness, preventing her from feeling whole. Which then becomes misery, and she would then struggle to look for meaning and purpose. This theory is brilliantly displayed during this scene in Season 3, Episode 4, where Rayla was recently ghosted by the Moon Shadow Elves and has a breakdown because she numbed her feelings for too long and it finally bursted. We will analyze this scene shot by shot to see how Rayla's emotion numbing has finally led her to this situation.
Please leave me alone. I don't want you to see me like this.
I don't care if you're crying. I'm here with you.
I'm a mess.
No, you're not. It's okay.
I've lost everything. My parents, the people who cared about me, my home. There's nowhere I belong now.
See how Rayla starts trying to justify her misery by showing the stacked vulnerable emotions that has been hurting her feelings for so long, and how she feels disconnected from her community's love and belongingness.
No.
That's not true, Rayla. You're going through a hard time, that's all.
That's not all. It's me, and it's all my fault. I failed them. I let them all down. They're right to reject me. I'm not good enough, and I never will be.
Now you could see how her misery led up to her looking for meaning, justification, and purpose, in which led to her blaming herself for not being good enough. This not only shows how Rayla truly feels this whole time, but most importantly it shows how keeping your emotions hidden would take such a heavy toll on you, and how thriving to be something you are not could prevent a person from feeling whole. However, without realizing, Rayla seems to accidentally muster the courage to tell Callum her vulnerabilities, in which my boy Callum handles extremely well, as he was able to see the irrational way that Rayla is justifying herself.
Shut up!
Wait, what?
Just shut up. You're talking crazy. Just listen to me. You're too good to feel this bad about yourself. I know that, and you should know that. You have true courage and a big heart. I've seen you get knocked down so many times before, and every single time you get up again. That's real strength. And you're 10 times funnier than any human I know. See, you know you're amazing. You're smart and fast and beautiful. Really, you're the most amazing person I've ever met.
This scene. Callum didn't only show her how wrong she was to blame herself and how amazing she is. He indirectly showed her that having the courage to embrace her vulnerabilities without any guarantees that the other person would respond supportively is better than keeping your vulnerabilities and imperfections hidden. That Callum has seen Rayla, the real Rayla, with all her imperfections, and that she is beautiful. That she needs to have the courage to be imperfect, and to love herself before loving others. Because what makes her vulnerable also makes her beautiful. And finally, she needs to believe with her whole heart that I am enough. In a society where I am expected to achieve certain standards to be considered a decent person, I find this message that the creators brilliantly conveyed within Rayllum really deep and relatable. Because in the end, we humans only want one thing, and that is to be whole. That is why I truly believe that Rayllum is a true masterpiece. Oh for doodles, how did this video turn so emotional? I have forsaken the arts of wheezing and embraced the arts of sobbing. I feel uncomfortable now. Well, at least now you know why Rayllum has been giving some of you a depression crisis. So good luck finding a Callum to share your vulnerabilities with. Though if you don't have any friends or close family, there is always the therapist. Or you could just DM me on Instagram, and I'll be your Korean Callum. Though the only reason I'm saying this is because of Sarai's squinty eyes, which still could mean that he's Japanese. No wait Dad, I didn't know he could be Japanese. Oh sheeple, he's grabbing the bamboo stick. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this much more lengthy video with a different, more emotional approach in the end. I hope you guys enjoyed the style of this video essay, as I am most likely not going to be this emotionally appealing in my future videos. Unless you dig into this deep emotional stuff. So make sure to leave a comment down below on your thoughts and desires for my future video, and I shall try my best to fulfill your deepest and darkest desires. Please force your friends who seem to be having life problems to watch The Dragon Prince, and for those of you who are still spamming your friends to watch TDP, I bless you with the holy powers of the chicken nuggies. Anyways, thank you again for watching and see you on the comments.
This song won't be too long, but I shall sing you this song. Today was a great day to make a funny video about TDP memes and other Dragon Prince things. But I had no time to sneeze. Why? Because I'm wheezing. I'm wheezing, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm wheezing, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. No sneezing, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Since I'm wheezing, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. This video was great, but for me it's getting late. Sorry this was so short. I hope it made you snort. Bye-bye.